Hello, everyone.
Hello?
Welcome back. It's Monday. It's not quite August yet, but we're getting there.
It's like August Tease Day.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, one more day, and then after that, we're off. We're off to the Gen Cons. So much to do, so little time.
That is literally the truth. I feel like there's no time. If it isn't done for Gen Con already, you're just screwed. That ain't gonna happen.
Yes. That is fairly accurate. Paint some little dudes. Some dusty little dudes I gotta clean off. Do I have the flat here somewhere?
How is everybody doing on this wonderful Monday? Hope things are well.
I'm doing great.
Hope everybody other than Baby J had a good weekend.
Wow, you hope I had a bad weekend?
No, I didn't say that. I'm just wishing everyone else a good weekend.
So it's okay if I had a crappy weekend.
I'm not gonna weigh in on that. Your weekend can be whatever it needed to have been.
I'm hurt. I'm hurting over here.
Well, I mean, certain individuals don't stick around for Friday game night, so they just kind of get what they deserve.
Wow.
That's my passive-aggressive way of saying he needs to stay here on Fridays. But he'd rather go play Digimans.
Hey. Sometimes I'd rather play Digimans.
All the time.
Not all the time.
All the time.
It's not quite all the time.
Do we know the August challenge yet? I don't know that we've thought about it.
You know what's funny? We came up with a perfect one in the middle of the month, and I cannot for the life of me remember what it was. It wasn't even the middle of the month. It was like right after we had started the other challenge. Because I remember we were like, ooh, that's perfect. We should do that for next month's challenge. And then I didn't write it down because I'm an idiot.
Welp.
So that's on me. Hi, Jen.
Hi.
Welp. I can't help you.
Jen,
Thank you.
Delivering smoothie.
Ooh.
It's okay. I have two. You can't have this one. It's okay. I already ate. And it was a typical Chipotle-sized burrito.
You stop
Hello,
going to the
everyone.
place.
Yeah, I kind of agree with you, to be honest.
Peanut butter and jelly sandwiches from now on.
That sounds like not the right choice.
What?
It sounds like not the right choice.
What?
Yeah. I mean, no, okay, hold on.
Is this the day I learn what kind of true heresy goes
No.
on behind those
Hold
eyes?
on. Let me clarify. Clarification is important. Context, clarification, all very important things.
I don't require that. All I heard you say is you hate peanut butter and jelly.
Those words never came out of my mouth.
That's exactly what he said, Chet.
That
You
is
heard it.
not
I
at
heard
all
it.
what came out of
We
my
all
mouth.
heard it. Now he's trying to get out of it. Here we go.
There we go. I happen to really enjoy chocolate. I also really enjoy chocolate. I don't know what that Gabe guy is doing, not eating chocolate, but
Oh, here we're trying to throw Gabe under the bus.
well, of course
The
we are.
bus. Gabe isn't even here to defend himself.
I mean, he was here to defend himself on Friday, and it wasn't good enough.
And Shelby, his sister, so remember Gabe said that Shelby used to eat apples with ketchup.
Uh-huh.
She fully denies that.
Oh.
Yes, she has.
So
has no
hipster
recollection of this.
Gumby
Yeah.
is now the one
He might
who's
be-
being thrown under the
He
bus
might be
by
telling stories.
his own sister.
Exactly.
That's not throwing people under the bus. Throwing people under the bus is what you do. What she did was defend herself.
By throwing him under the bus.
That's
It
not.
works
You
out.
get to look. That's not. Doesn't mean what you seem to think it means.
Did you guys let Paint Liquor know when you'll be back streaming again?
No.
Next
We
Tuesday.
yes.
So they're gonna stream today, obviously.
Uh-huh. No, I thought we would just
Maybe
pop on for a
tomorrow.
second and then leave.
Maybe tomorrow, depending on how
Uh,
things go.
I think so.
yeah.
Probably
I don't see a
tomorrow.
reason why we wouldn't. Also, we have challenges to go through. for
Oh
tomorrow,
yes.
So,
So there will be a stream tomorrow.
Yeah, tomorrow's the challenge.
Yeah.
Slides.
Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Monday.
where did my glue go? What the
You'll
heck?
find somebody else out there. Loads of people will be streaming. We will not.
Moved all the things and now it is all gone. Oh, there it is. Found it. We've found it, folks.
How was everyone's weekend?
Hot.
Jordan spent some time outside.
It was hot.
I don't know why. I don't know what he was doing. I don't ask those questions.
I was
Just
I was
know he
literally
said he was
just
outside
visiting
before
with
time.
somebody who was really nice.
You were what?
I was just visiting with somebody who was really
Oh.
nice. The guy who I traded all of my old Star Wars Legion stuff to for this new fancy 40k army I'm playing. Which I then played against Chris on Sunday. It was a delightful weekend. I certainly cannot complain.
Looks like we have some suggestions for the August challenge.
Okay. Let's
Hot
hear
pink
them.
Skin.
Nope. We
Paint liquor.
Yes, that's
Yes.
who that was. Angry August.
Angry. What does that mean?
Army August. Or Cyberpunk August. Those are
Ooh,
the
Cyberpunk August could be cool.
What does that mean?
That's pretty restrictive though on miniatures, which we try to avoid. So Cyberpunk being like, it's I don't even know how to really. It's just like far futuristic, like.
Like
I have a
Mad
smoothie.
Max?
Yeah, it's
Like
just
Mad Max, kind of.
no, it's like it's like futuristic city life type thing. So if you think of like the I don't know, like San Francisco in 2050 or 2077 or something.
It's gonna be a pile of rubble.
Probably.
What else in this?
Strawberry banana. Greek
Chocolate
yogurt, and
something?
Chocolate.
Ooh.
Is it
Oh,
too
you put
chocolatey?
chocolate in it.
There's a little. Mine tastes a little too chocolatey. I know you like chocolate.
That's good. Wait. Back up.
You know how
It
I
might
am with-
taste too chocolatey.
Well, you know how I am with stuff like that. Like, I don't like chocolate milkshakes. I don't eat chocolate ice cream. I don't get mochas.
It's
You're missing out.
So as much as I love chocolate, I don't love chocolate in my beverages.
I don't think we're in
Somebody likes us.
any harm.
Someone likes us. Crew 08, thank you for the follow. Hello, welcome.
Ghost in the Shell.
Yeah, that's
I think I saw
Cyberpunk.
that. Was that the one with Scarlett Johansson?
Yeah.
Yes.
It's I don't know. I have a hard time calling that cyberpunk.
It's not really.
Cyberpunk is more Battle Angel Alita, if you
I feel like I
want
saw
that
that
kind of
too.
dystopian
Was that a movie
stuff.
too?
Hmm?
Was that a movie?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did we see that?
Yeah.
I think we saw that too.
Yeah.
Was that the one with the
It was like all
guy and
CGI
the
girl with
girl.
big eyes.
was
Yeah.
it Cara Delevingne?
With what?
Cara Delevingne?
I don't know if that's who that was.
Okay.
I don't know if that's
She
who
was
the actress
in
was.
a movie that we saw.
Maybe? They distorted her face with CGI and made her eyes further apart to make it look anime.
It wasn't her. There was one where it was like a brother and a sister.
That's Valerian.
Valerian. Okay.
Yeah, I think is what the name of that movie is.
Yeah, Valerian.
I think she was in that.
Where she was the badass and he was the wimp.
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah. Valerian.
Aren't they both technically supposed to be the badass in that?
Yes.
But they aren't. Just the one of them is basically.
In the movie, it wound up being more her.
Yeah.
But Cyberpunk has a lot of the same kind of dystopian hacker technology tropes going on. When I think about it, I don't put Ghost in the Shell in that category.
You're probably right. Now that I think about it more, it is definitely. I mean, Ghost in the Shell has that hacker stuff going on, but it's not. It doesn't have the. I don't know. There's a particular vibe
there's more of a synth wavy.
Yeah.
And that's really bad to say because I don't think that the weird 90s aesthetic has to go with Cyberpunk at all. Because like I said, I think that Battle Angel Alita fits into that kind of thing, but maybe not. Maybe it's even too primitive. Cyberpunk is, I guess, a pretty broad spectrum genre when you want to define it because there's all sorts of crap that could fit in there. I mean, the video game by the name, if you were going to look at that, is more presented at least with some synth wave kind of aesthetic.
Historical theme.
Historical?
Augustus.
We always try to go for something that is really focused on color and use of color rather than
Type of
model,
yeah.
right? Now, that doesn't mean that something like historic couldn't work if we found out something that was like historic, like we did with the filter one that we did.
Oh, the sepia.
Yeah, like the sepia filter one.
Yeah, because that was more historically inspired than it was necessarily that you had to do historical based stuff with it.
Synthwave aesthetic. That doesn't help me at all either.
I mean, we could do like hyper neon crazy color month.
That would be fitting since I think we'll have our fluorescent color samples ready to go. Of course, nobody out in
we'll have access
Streamland will have access to those.
We did last year on August because that's my birthday is in August, so we did the cute and colorful.
Wait, your birthday's in August?
Yes.
I know her birthday by heart.
I was about to say, I'm pretty sure you're
what
joking.
My birthday is.
I know her birthday by heart.
When's your birthday?
Don't freak out.
27th. I'm at the end of the month. I'm Virgo. Better.
That went in a weird direction real quick, didn't it? I'm Virgo. We're better. That's what she just said.
You should have seen the look.
Which actually tells you more about Virgo than her statement.
That's probably true.
So
That's accurate, though.
Damn!
It's a very Virgo thing to say.
That was a very Virgo thing to say.
As
I'm Virgo, we're better.
Firmly planted Leo.
Yes.
I disagree with your statement.
I'm a Gemini. There's more of us, so
I don't know. My family
cool.
might beg to differ.
Y'all be cool.
You should see how many August babies are in my family. It's a lot.
I have a whole string. It's like a whole week of birthdays around Jason's. Like some of my best friends.
My
all in a row. two of my best friends from college. One of them, her daughter, and then Jason.
You want to hear the weirdness that's mine?
Yeah.
So my grandmother's birthday is on the 4th.
Okay.
Mine is on the 6th.
Fluorescent August.
My mom's is on the 10th. My stepdad's is on the 15th. My uncle's is on the 16th. My cousin's is on the 20th. And I have a different cousin who's on the 30th.
A lot of Leos going on there, except for the
except for the one at the end of the month. Yeah. Except for the one at the end of the month.
Speaking of August 27th, which is my birthday, I share my birthday with the late, great Pee Wee Herman, who passed away today.
Oh,
Kind of sad.
that is sad.
A bunch of people just recently passed away.
A lot of people do every day, probably.
Yeah.
We just don't hear
A lot of
about
people
them.
do every day.
Yeah, it's true too. There is that. There is that.
So for all of you though out there in Streamland who are curious as to why I'm rubbing a brush against these models that are already primed,
Because they're not his.
they're not mine. So they are a little worse for wear when it comes to being kept. I don't know if you've gone over this with some of your like eBay rescue type stuff you've gotten. But a lot of people keep stuff in like a garage or in a cabinet somewhere and it gets all dusty. And you gotta like kind of scrub at it to get all the little bits and bobs off. Do a little bit of cleanup work here and there, re-glue an arm that wasn't glued on properly. Straighten stuff out just a touch. It's not so bad. Dusty Augusty.
Dusty Augusti.
Xenophonetic. We've talked in the past about my fancy primer issues. And me coming by at Gen Con, I got a ticket for Thursday. I also live here. Is there a good time to actually show the issue? At the show? I would say if...
Could probably go by the booth anytime.
Probably. I would say on Thursday I wouldn't
Might be a
go
line.
right as the doors open because it's going to be a freaking madhouse in the event hall. Just like getting anywhere is going to be difficult in the event hall. Or not the event hall, the vendor hall. If you wait a couple of hours, it should die down enough that you can actually move through the hallways or through the alleyways of the vendor hall to like get to our booth. Because man, people like to line up and it's a mob getting in there. So
Is it laid out pretty much the same as Adepticon?
It's
No.
huger.
It's
it's
huge,
bigger,
huger
yeah.
by a magnitude.
And no, it's
of-
not. It's not a simple grid. There's a lot of diagonals and. We're at 2664.
2664.
So the first day, while you might think it's the least busy because it's, a lot of people are still at work, the first day is always the busiest day for the Monument Hobbies booth. So just know that you can go by the booth anytime, but you might see a lot of people there and hang out. Look at the new colors.
Yeah, generally for shows,
Can you give us
first
a
day-
heads up? Are we familiar with this problem? Is it from Discord? What's the deal?
Because
Because I don't know that we have the ability to do anything that we can't do right now,
That's true.
and we can actually show you airbrushing and such right now. So it might be better to discuss a lot of that now, just so you get good info.
That is a great point.
Mm-hmm. I think they
Yeah,
wanted
but you
to
maybe-
show us something. I think is why.
Because like if you're just going to show us primer rubbing off and things like that,
Yeah,
then
We can talk about that.
These, I don't know, he's saying fancy primer issues. So
What
I don't know if it's different.
Can
Can
you
just
remind
give
us
a
what
quick,
the issue
yeah,
is?
quick recap,
Yeah.
refresher.
primer doesn't adhere properly. So what I can tell you is that there's no such thing as a batch issue with our paint, right? And these are always hard conversations to have because the way that we manufacture, there's no problem batch to batch with our paint. The way that we do our testing, we catch all of that. And if there was a problem, it would never get released. The primer is a light-duty primer. If you have 3D printed models, then 3D printed models, especially ones that are done in extruded plastics, and I don't know which of these may be your problem. We'll talk about it more in specific when we see you. Anything that's with extruded ABS, you have a waxy surface. Our primer isn't going to be great until you sand that. 3D printed resins, if they have any off-gassing going on because they're not fully cured, which is lots of 3D printed resins, then our primer may have a problem with that. And so we've never seen these, right? So I just say this as kind of a blanket statement. Like we see when we paint with our paints around here, you'll see the worst situation is what's happened to the ring of the base here, a Morgana Le Fay, right? Mm-hmm. I've rubbed off the primer as I've hit my fingers on this, right? And I can probably with a fingernail. I have a lot of people that I'll see posts saying, hey, I can scratch it off with a fingernail. You will scratch any primer off with a fingernail.
Yep.
That's not what primer is for. So primer is meant to give tooth to your subsequent layers. If you prime your model and you are then applying paint and rubbing primer off as you apply your paint, you're doing an aggressive painting style or a painting style that is way too wet for your first layer. So when building up primer on a model, you want to go with thin layers first. We talk about it in our videos. So you build up one layer that barely does any color at all on the model. It just starts giving little speckles of paint. Then your second one starts to fill that in. Your third then gives you your complete opaque coat, and then you do a fourth to kind of layer it over. Now, when I say layers, I'm not talking like put a bunch of paint on there and then go clean the airbrush and do another one, another one, another one. You're constantly moving. You're just looking at your first pass is a better word, right? Your first pass over a model just kind of in terms of like if I'm doing black primer, then the first pass over our standard gray plastic is just going to make it quite, just a little darker gray, right? So with a model like this, you'd still see more of this gray plastic than you would full primer, right? Then you darken it up with another pass, and another pass. It's hard to count because I'm just going until I'm happy with it. Resins are generally some of the worst, so like the Mineworks resin that you see here, because the resins can have various demolding compounds on them, whether it be baby powder or you name it. So you can have anything that helps you get the resin out of the mold once you've cast it. And but I don't have, I don't ever worry about that because I don't clean my models or anything. So let's start there. I never, ever, when I pick up a model, clean it. I don't do what Jordan's doing when I buy eBay models. I don't do anything. Unless there's a model that I'm holding that has so much gunk on it that it doesn't have detail, at which point I don't paint it, I throw it away. I don't clean, I don't strip, I don't do any of that, right? I get my models, I put them together with clean hands, right? Because, we make jokes around here about like Cheeto-fingered nerd dust. And that stuff does have a big problem, especially on plastics. Plastics are very porous still, so are metal miniatures. So anything that you get in there like hand oil, grease because you were eating a hot dog or whatever can cause problems later on down the road. It can keep that first adhesion layer from sticking, so you might get spots that raise. But again, if you wash your hands, you shouldn't have any problems. So with a model that I've just put together like this one, and then you prime it and you do 3 or 4 passes with the primer until it builds up, and you shouldn't have any problems at all. Now, you watch us paint on here every day, and you'll notice that we'll go through and do base layers immediately after, so while we tell you on the label and such that you should be waiting, anywhere upwards of 24 hours if it's very humid, in a normal climate, somewhere between that midpoint, dry and humid. Now, we're ultra dry here, so we kind of can prime and then immediately be painting, and I can dry brush over my primer without too much problem. Now, that being said, there have been problems in the past where I prime a model here on stream and then smack on a dry brush layer immediately, and I'll pull the primer off, right? Because I'm doing a very aggressive paint style on top of a paint that isn't meant to be, you're not going to sand it. This isn't like wet sanding primer. This isn't the kind of primer we use on like metal, right?
Yeah.
For like auto body. So you're not going to be able to, like, immediately as soon as you get done priming, put masking tape on it and then not see the primer lift off. That's just being smart with the application of paint. The first thing that you do, a lot of people, I'll tell them, look, if you're going to be doing harsher, more abrasive techniques like dry brushing, slap chop style stuff on top of our primer, then do the primer coat, then put a coat of coal black over it, right? Then do your zenithal highlight with your airbrush or with your dry brush or something like that. Our primer really becomes strong when it has that first layer of paint locking it in, because our primer is an artist primer. It is not a heavy duty primer, right? Our primer is a primer that's meant to go on and give what we call tooth to the model, because the model surface in resin and plastic and metal has no tooth, almost zero. Some old metal models do, because of the way that the metal was pockmarked when it came out, because it was ultra porous. But for purposes of what we do in modeling today, generally our models do not have any tooth to them. And that tooth is not something you can see, no matter how much texture is on the model. Tooth is a microscopic thing, meaning that the surface of the model is more polished. If you were to look at it under a microscope, all of the surface lays flat, right? It's why model plastic is shiny, right? So model plastic shines back at you because all of the plastic particles lay flat. They've been basically smoothed over because they've been melted and then cooled, right? So they're laying flat. Our primer eliminates that. That's why it's matte finish. When it goes on, it gives tooth, meaning that if you look at it under a microscope, it has tons of little crags, like the surface of the moon. Like, it has lots of pits and teeth in it, and that gives more surface area. So in the past, we've talked about it in terms of how you... I'm probably never going to actually find the sheet, so we'll just make another one.
Can I interject with a couple of comments from Xenophonetic?
Sure.
So, there's a question, why doesn't it scratch off after stripping first? Washing doesn't help either. And then also, he's saying, I mean, I've seen it come off a week later. And I've tried gloves to help with oil on hands.
So, I guess when you say it comes off a week later, I mean, this is a month later and I can still scratch it off, right? It doesn't change, right? Is that what you're asking? Why doesn't it scratch off after stripping first?
Yeah, if you go back...
that doesn't make sense to me.
Primer doesn't adhere properly unless I've stripped the model once.
Unless you've stripped the model once?
And it's GW and AMG models.
I don't understand. Explain to me, unless you've stripped the model once. You prime the model, strip the model, and then prime again, and the primer adheres good then? That means your model is dirty to start with, right? Because when you strip it, you're using things and chemicals that are cleaning your model. And so it means you started with a dirty model, which could mean everything from glue residue. Remember that putting your models together with plastic glue creates a tremendous amount of residue. One of the things that I do is I only use super glue on models, right? Because CA glue leaves no residue that affects paint at all. Plastic glue, on the other hand, does, right? Most of them. I can't speak to all of them, but I don't use plastic glue because it's like an oily substance and it leaves a lot of problems depending on how messy it gets on the model. And it's on your fingers and touching the model and things like that. So I haven't used plastic glue since I was like 10 years old. I use all CA glue for everything. Now, granted, when I was 10 years old, all the models were metal. So you couldn't use plastic glue. Yeah. Miniature models, that is, right? But so first off, CA glue, super glue, we call it, is your best friend as a model builder. It's always going to allow you to work, whether you're working in plastic or resins or whatever. I mean, you have to use it for resins and you have to use it for metals. The only thing is whether or not you like using it for plastics. You tried washing it with the same stripper, which is weird, after assembly? Yeah, I don't know.
Well, and Law Dog asked an important question, too, is are you thinning it? Because you're not supposed to thin the primer at all.
I don't think he's been thinning it. I think Xenophonetic talked about thinning it the first time and then not. And...
Okay.
So,
no thinner. Okay, good.
What do you clean your airbrush with? If you clean your airbrush with anything other than water, I would suggest stopping that. Unless you have a really good way to ensure that nothing's in your airbrush, because having airbrush thinner or airbrush cleaner, especially airbrush cleaner, in your airbrush before you spray anything can cause lots of problems, like the paint never drying. And And so I tend to avoid that. We only use water through the airbrush to clean it until we do a deep clean, and then we might use some soap or something like that. But I mean, technically, we don't ever do that here.
Yeah.
I can't think of a time when we have. So there could be residue, right? I've had a lot of people that have said, I just cleaned the airbrush, so I know it's not the airbrush. And I'm like, what'd you clean the airbrush with? Airbrush cleaner. And I'm like, okay, so clean your airbrush just with water, no airbrush cleaner. And then they've sprayed it and they've had good results. Okay. So there's a lot of variables in the way you apply primer. And I'd be real honest with you. Like I said, our primer is an artist light duty primer. It is meant to give the paint tooth to hold on to the model. And once it's on, I'll put it up against anything. Now, I'm not going to scrape her with my fingernail. That would be stupid. It's acrylic paint. But I mean, you've seen me handling her the entire time, and I'm not rubbing paint off. But I mean, like, I rubbed a little bit of paint off of like the tip of her hair while I was handling it, and the tip of the feathers on her head, because I always rest the model against my finger. But if you've watched us paint, you'll notice that when I'm holding bigger models, I'm got my hand on the model a lot of the time, and I don't have magic hands. I don't think I have oil just like everybody. But once I get that first layer of paint locked on, there's no problem. And I can airbrush it, brush it, all of that. Like, I just don't. I would put our stuff up against anybody. You know, you've seen me handle certain models for months and months, you know.
Well, then going on to that as well, with the pointier parts like hair, raised edges,
They're
the
always
tips,
going to get rubbed on.
It doesn't matter what kind of primer you use. You can use the strongest primer in the world. That stuff is still going to wear off. It's not. It's just how paint is not a perfect solution for keeping it on there. Oil and wear and friction is going to pull it off.
Yeah, the weird thing that you're telling me is that if you prime it, strip it, and prime it again, it works fine. There's something in your process that's making that happen, because the paint didn't change from the time you stripped it to not stripping it. The surface of the model is the only thing that changed. So when you're problem solving, you always have to look at where the variables are affecting things. If you didn't change the application of primer between stripping the model and the first time that you did it, you simply took it from the bottle, put it in the airbrush, no thinning, no water in the airbrush, no residue of cleaner in the airbrush, none of that. Then no gun oil, lubricant, or any of that crap. Then as soon as you put our primer on the model, the only thing that's changed was the surface of the model, and you've used some astringent or I don't know what the chemical you're using to strip it is. It could be Simply Green or LA's Totally Awesome. I think a lot of people use. I don't strip models, so I don't really know. Yeah, but the stripping thing breaks it down to where it's the stripper cleaning the model differently than what you started with. And if you're saying you've tried the stripper on the model to clean it after putting it together, then I would say that that even adds a different layer of weirdness.
Also, you can probably clean the models yourself without hiring strippers to do it.
This is also true, but it's less fun. So, depending on the stripper. Like I said, I don't know what stripper you're using.
You just said stripper so many times. I have to.
This is why we don't let Jen.
Jen,
This is why she can't be. She runs this place, by the way. Now you know why we are like we are. No more explanations needed.
What a
You can clean your models without strippers.
Thank you, Jen. Thank you.
Super cleaner isopropyl. So if you're using isopropyl, one of the things I'll tell you there is that it's going to leach out the impurities that have gotten into the porosity of the plastic or the metal or the resin too. Because it latches on, and when it evaporates, pulls a lot of that crap out. So, but I don't know. The atomic mass stuff for Marvel Crisis Protocol, I'm not sure if you mentioned that. I think you said AMG.
Yeah, AMG.
The AMG stuff's really waxy surface. I remember when I was starting to paint the Black Order stuff that I had to go in and make sure that as I was putting the primer on, I did a couple of really super light coats on the primer to get rid of that and lock it in. But GW stuff's always been really rock solid for us.
I mean, this is an atomic mass model that I've just primed over, and I mean, even the primer on the edge, which is wiped off a little bit, is still holding pretty firm.
Yeah.
And the model hasn't chipped at all.
Yeah, the
And
corners
you'll
you'll see rub, and then before you paint them, you just go back and put a little bit of primer on it.
Yeah.
I mean, part of this is just painting models. right?
Yes.
I've just been painting models for nearly 50 years. And so for me, I know that corners rub and I lose primer on everything, whether I'm using rattle can, primer, enamels, lacquers, or acrylics. It's going to rub. Going through my, and so I guess I'm explaining this so that I don't seem callous to your problem, because I'm not. But I've painted bajillions of miniatures, and coming from the time where 90% of GW's character models were all metal, right? And handling metal models, you always had paint come off. And you would have weird stuff like the paint come off as like the shape of a sword. The layer of paint on a sergeant's sword would come off, and it would literally be the face of the sword, right? Because it would crack around the edges and come off. And that would be GW with rattle can paint. And so, I've dealt with having to fix things like that forever, right? And so I don't have a fear factor against stuff chipping. Now, gratefully, we don't deal with metal miniatures anymore, which is a huge problem. And with the plastics, if I'm playing and I rub or knock something around, it's easy to fix, right? So I just don't care is really the thing. But the primer shouldn't be an issue of coming off. Like I said, unless you're priming and then immediately going on with a ton of like speed paint that has a lot of glycol in it, that glycol can start to reactivate and pull pigment to the surface on the primer. So you got to be a little careful with that. Give it a lot of extra time to dry if you're trying to black prime, white prime, zenithal, and then speed paint the whole thing. Contrasts, I haven't heard the same thing with, but the speed paints are bad about that. Yeah. Their formulation, and I don't know V1.0, V2.0, I don't know. The only way you can really create a speed paint like that, I would assume that the GW stuff is very similar, is by using a tremendous amount of glycol products in your paint. And so that becomes a little bit of a problem. So I would always say, if you're going to be doing those techniques, that either use their specific primers that they're talking about, because they're heavier primers for that, or use our primers and then top coat it with black and white paint for your zenithal, as opposed to using the primer for that, so that it locks everything in and works really well.
Division ring. We don't deal with metal models. Cries and Warcaster.
Well, Zeno, if you're letting your models sit after you prime them, try something else too. Try painting like within 15 to 20 minutes of priming, because another problem that can occur is if you let the primer sit and you have a dusty area or other things like that, then you could wind up causing problems by them just sitting. Usually not a day. Usually I have people that are like, hey, I primed these, they're freshly primed. And I'm like, how fresh? And they're like, like a month or two ago. And I'm like, there's your problem. But usually that's more of a texture issue, because you'll get dust in the paint as it's curing, and it'll make it look rougher than it really is.
Which is part of the reason why I'm scrubbing these down, because that is what happened with these.
All gravy. This is a miniature from our upcoming game. I say upcoming like it's around the corner. From a game that we are developing. And we are in the process right now of working on the design side of how we are doing our miniatures. Everything from build and the way we cut our files and the kinds of details that we need. Like, we have a little bit of expansion joint here where the gun hits his shoulder that we need to probably be covering with details. Looking at the way the manufacturing process works so that we don't have details that, cause the build to be a little wonky. And I'm just painting him. Just having some fun painting him. And showing you guys a little sneak peek into the future of Monument Hobbies. Aptos, how did we achieve the rhino skin? Boy, it's been more than a day. So I did dark flesh up underneath. Dark flesh. Right? So I put dark flesh over the whole model, black primer, then dark flesh. And then over the top of that, I did the brown gray from the new Signature series that's coming out. And then I took the red gray from John Nennis' set, the Ninjan set, and that's really it. Then I dry brushed the red gray over the top. Oh, before I dry brushed, I did a complete wash using Payne's Gray and our wash medium. So I washed it with the Payne's Gray, really, really thin. As you can tell, there's not a ton of blue showing through on him, but it did give me a really neat kind of bluish gray in the shadows that then I went back and dry brushed the red gray over the top again to give me that detail. I am, like I said, I'm testing out how the texturing and stuff that we're baking into the model on the STLs is working, and obviously the texture here is really good. It gives it a very rough, wrinkly skin. So the dry brush is the quick and easy way to bring that out, and it passed the test. So that's it. Just real quick. Did it in, I don't know, an hour?
Yeah, it only
it
took
was
you.
really fast.
Yeah, it was really, really fast when you did it. That I do remember.
And like usual, I didn't come in with a plan.
It turned out really good, though.
I was like, I don't know what I'm doing. Let's do this.
That's like all your projects.
Yeah, the Lord of the Rings trolls would work really well that way, too.
You mean these ones? I gotta figure out a good recipe for the troll skin on these guys.
Xenophonetic. You'll try locking in with regular paint. The primer wouldn't come off the model, though, if later. Again, I have never had these problems, and I play with the models that I paint, and we move them around the table. I mean, our primer isn't something you have to use and be fearful of. It just works. If you're having a specific problem, and I'm going to be real honest with you, it can be down to just the pH of your skin oil, but that would be very rare. Like if you had some sort of crazy sweat that made paint not stick, you would know it because nobody's paint would stick. So I don't think that's the case, but I've met people that are like that have to be very careful of what they get their hand oils on.
It's really interesting.
Yeah, I literally had a guy that could not wear any fine jewelry, nothing silver, nothing gold, nothing bronze, nothing like that. It would tarnish immediately.
Yeah.
It would leave big rings around his skin everywhere.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah, stuff like that. I don't remember I think it's that you're more
Like I know
acidic than base or something. I don't remember, but
I know my skin's sensitive to gold in particular, but because I would always get like rashes from wearing like gold chains and stuff. That's really interesting. Gotta re-prime these guys. Because that old GW primer that makes everything beat up on it.
But yeah, Zeno, when you come to Gen Con, bring a model and we'll take a look at it and see, right? We'll have models there that are primed. So you can take a look and see what the difference might be. I'm thinking... What am I thinking here? I'm thinking I have no idea what color to do his loincloth. Hey, can you go full one painter screen for me?
Yeah, of course.
Jen can do it.
I just like having the buttons here now. I like pressing them.
I can do all that too. I disappear when that goes on.
What's that?
I said I can do that too. And
Sorry, Jen.
And I disappear when that goes on. So.
Oh, hit your thing in there. Go back with a little dark neutral gray. some shadow on here.
They haven't given me that button, Division Ring.
What's that?
Which button?
He said, Division Ring said, was hoping for the joke of going to one screen and just ending up with only Jen on screen with both models removed.
Oh, we don't
Oh.
have that yet.
Yeah, we don't have that yet.
We could have Jen takes over as a button.
Oh, well, Zeno is saying, this problem does seem to apply to all miniature airbrush primer brands I've tried. Just didn't seem to apply in Texas, but it does in Indy. That he tried a dehumidifier. Oh, and I think the reason that it's an issue right now is because we're small enough that he can actually talk to someone.
That what?
That he can actually talk to someone.
Yeah, it sounds like this is not a problem that's exclusive to us. It's
Not
all
a problem exclusive to us, but
Yeah.
you're here, and so he can ask about it.
good.
Well, yeah, so it may just be that you're finding how acrylic primers work, right? Enamel, lacquer primers, anything you find in a rattle can is going to be a sturdier poly because the people they're having build their primers for them are not for the hobby. They're for things like painting your grill outside.
The downside with that is it's really easy to get too much paint on your model in obscure detail.
Well, yeah, they're not meant to go for tiny details, right? The whole reason why we make what we do. But yeah, there could be any number of issues. And depending on your experience in the past, airbrush primers are always, no matter who they're from, going to be less durable than rattle can primers of the type that we use here, whether you're getting it at the hardware store, automotive store, or whatever. The big issue with automotive primers is never really adhesion and hold and strength. It's always color fastness. The thing that makes rattle can primers cheaper and less good, I would say, is the fact that a cheaper paint won't hold its color for long. You paint something with black primer and then you put it out in the sun or something and it bakes off instantly. Right?
Everybody say hi to Jacob.
Hi, Jacob.
Hi.
Gotta talk. You know the
Gotta
rules.
talk.
I'm eating right now.
That's not what this is for.
Okay.
Okay.
What would you like me to talk about?
Well, right now it sounds like you're going to be doing hot dog ASMR.
I don't. That's what I mean. I don't want to do that.
You might get better donations.
Wait.
Lots of subs.
All right, everybody.
Lots of
Who
subs.
wants to sub for?
Turn your
for-
volume up, people. You're
hot
about to
dog.
hear Jacob
Yeah.
chewing. Which I think is actually really gross. I don't know why people are into this, but
Hey,
fetishes
you know what?
be fetishes.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Fetish is gonna fesh.
Are you able to make?
Hey,
a poll in the
Hipster
chat.
Gumby, hello from the road.
Hello.
You should be driving. Put your phone down.
Wait, is it his turn to drive?
I hope not.
I hope you're not driving. I have enough faith in him that he's not.
I do too. Out of the two of them.
Out of the two of them?
I think.
Wow. Don't let
I said what I said. You can tell Phil.
I said what I said.
I said what I said. You could tell Phil.
Obscure Ruckus, don't yuck my yum.
What's up, truck folk? How goes the drive? Hopefully you guys are doing well, keeping hydrated.
Tim says he already subbed without Russian spy chewing.
Oh,
Oh,
they picked up a really cool guy who's driving for them. So, problem solved.
What?
So who's strapped to the roof?
Yeah, so the one thing that we know that they're lying is that van doesn't hold anybody
Yeah.
else. The team is on the road to Gen Con.
We're almost on our way there ourselves. Just another couple of days.
Whoa.
Whoa?
Well, that old cat now just said something in chat. So I really am
Whoa.
concerned about who's driving.
Wait.
Now we
Wait.
don't know.
Wait, hold on.
I have a
I'm
big
driving
lap.
right now. He types.
Wait.
You guys realize, like, the people who you
No.
don't want to tell that to are sitting in this office right now? Or in this studio right now? You guys picked the wrong chat to hop into and confess your sins.
This Epilo, so saying that you grew up living in Tabasco, Mexico with 106-degree temperature and 100% humidity. Well, 100% is when it's raining, right?
I think so. Yeah.
Rattle cans are unusable. Yeah, at high humidity, rattle cans can be a real disaster, right? Because of the texture that they'll give, the fact that they probably won't cure the way you want them to. They can be, and as we know, they give lots of problems with like cold weather, things like that.
Yeah.
Brush painting on can be a good solution, right? Airbrush is the best.
I concur.
Just plain and simple. If you have the ability over time, start saving up, get yourself an airbrush if for no other reason than to prime your models. You can use it all year round. As long as you maintain it, it'll be your best friend.
Never goes out of style.
It doesn't go out of style. It does actually, right? We have a community of people that are like, you're cheating. Airbrushing is cheating.
Hey, one person's not style is everybody else's maybe not style.
So new guy Jillip they're stopped for gas right now. So that's why they can both be chatting.
That's the lie they're telling?
They're
Thanks.
about to leave Tulsa.
Thanks for that.
About to leave Tulsa? Holy hell. We gave you an extra day. You didn't need that day. Could have stayed here and left today.
Is that
Don't get a speeding ticket.
where's Tulsa?
I think they went to Amarillo last night.
They did. They made it to Amarillo last
You guys are in hero mode.
Tulsa is in Oklahoma.
They're like, we want a free day off before we go to before we do.
That's
show
the thing.
Stuff.
They're trying to get to Indy and like have a night off. I get them. I understand what's happening here.
Yeah. You guys don't get extra credit for that. I'm just letting you know.
Yeah, you definitely don't get extra credit for speeding tickets.
Oh yeah, that's true. You get detention for speeding tickets.
Yeah, you pay those out of your own pocket.
Uh huh.
That's the misunderstanding. It's Tulsa, Georgia, actually.
What the heck are you guys doing in Georgia?
Tells you made a wrong turn at Albuquerque. So Jacob, how you doing today?
I am doing
You surviving?
decent.
Jacob's doing decent.
I'm recovering from a cold, but I'm making it work, I
Making it
guess.
work
You
today.
sound better than you did last week. The last time
It
I
was
talked.
much worse over the weekend, but we're okay today.
Oh, you had that get worse before it gets better thing. That's a bummer.
Sounds kind of like what I sounded like when I was.
I was not as bad as you.
No, that is true.
I was not in pain, it was just my voice.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I was like actually in pain. It was not great.
Are we able to have a poll in the Twitch chat?
A hole?
A poll.
Oh, this is the question of the day?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Do
Did you ask Jason?
Yeah, I did.
Okay.
He gave the right answer.
Okay.
Wait.
Well, I can't say the right answer until
No,
the
we
poll's
can't say the
over.
right-
Oh, is this the question you asked me earlier today?
Yeah.
Oh.
Do you make chocolate milk with powder or syrup? That is
Uh,
the
Then
question.
So
of the
my
day.
answer is I make it with chocolate bars.
Okay, that's out of we're ignoring that.
Out of the scope of
That
the
wasn't
question.
one of the options, Jordan.
But
You gotta pick-
This
you-
was not a multiple choice question.
It's
This was just a question.
It's an A/B question. There is no C.
It sounded very binary to me. I'm just going to throw it out there. He said one or the other.
I don't
And
remember
you came
hearing
up
one
with a
of that.
third.
Well,
Like Nestle Quick Jackal Sow. Put the powder in the milk.
I mean, technically, my answer is the same as Jason's answer. Technically.
Starbucks.
Yeah.
The correct answer is yes.
It's difficult because I've made it both ways over the course of my life.
One
So I
way
think
has
what
only
he's
been
getting at then is
used
which
when I
way you
had
prefer.
to because of lack of the right answer.
I told them this morning.
Yeah, but I
that-
think there's multiple wrong answers. There's wrong
A
answers
lot of
on
it's
both
brand
sides, right?
specific, though.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Well, if it's brand specific, then your favorite brand. What is your favorite way to make chocolate milk?
If I'm making it, right, it's Nestle's Quick.
If that's your favorite, then it's powder.
Yep.
Nestle's Quick over the Starbucks stuff?
Well, see, that's the thing. Starbucks I don't make.
Right.
He's specifically saying
said
when
if
you
you
make
make
You
No,
make
the
it,
Starbucks powder stuff.
There's a Starbucks.
that's
powder.
hot
that's-
chocolate.
it's
That won't
powder.
work as chocolate milk. Difference.
I guess that's true.
and
You
it's a
could
powder.
chill
I
it,
think it needs the heat
Nope.
to
but you don't.
dissolve. I don't know.
No, it
Yeah.
falls out
I
of
don't-
suspension again.
I don't drink it. So.
It's like paint. It's like edible paint.
I told the crew this morning about your chocolate milk and how you used to make it nightly and would ask the time and
Motherfucking chocolate milk time.
exactly. So I
Jen
I
has
told
okay.
them
So if
that.
you ever ask Jen what time it is, she's gonna look at you funny. Just understand this is the story about why she's gonna look at you funny. She's gonna assess the situation, and then she's gonna tell you what time
It
it
always
is.
takes me a minute or two before I answer.
She's very gun shy to the question, "What time is it?" As a matter of fact, the last couple times I've asked her what time it is because I really needed to know what time it was.
Are you leaving?
Yeah.
Okay. See ya. So Jason used to. Did he even tell everyone what his right answer was?
No,
He
he
didn't.
just left. That's so Jacob, by the way.
That is very Jacob. He's like, I'm done with this conversation. I've eaten my food. I'm leaving now.
So Jason used to be really into chocolate milk and would have it like every night, and he would ask, "Hey, what time is it?" And I would look and tell him what time it was, and he's like, "No,
No.
it's MF and chocolate milk time."
It's MF and chocolate milk
So
time. He
I
looked
use,
like,
Except he's
I
actually
used
said
a
the
lot more
he
energy
said the real
than what
words.
she just said.
So eventually,
I'm going to prank Jen
every
with this
time he
so hard.
asked what time it was, that would be how I would answer.
She would get real timid and she'd
I'd
go,
be like,
"MF
"Is it
and
MF
chocolate
and
milk
chocolate
time?"
milk
Oh my gosh. This is amazing.
So I told them that today, and I said, if Jason ever comes in and asks what time it is, that needs to be your response. So we'll
MF
see if
and
they
chocolate
remember.
milk time.
She still says, "Is it MF chocolate milk time?" And I'm like, "No, but that sounds good. I really need to know what time it is." Jacob leaving after asking that question is such a Russian spy thing to do.
Totally.
Exactly.
Totally.
See?
So, it's so true.
Exactly.
Yeah,
But then it
just-
throws me off the scent of the trail because it's like, but he knows that we would presume his guilt if he did things like this. So maybe he's trying to double, triple, quadruple cross us.
Yeah.
He can't cross us at all. Jen signs his paychecks. We
Just-
can
just
cut
Response
this
is
spy
time for
off
you to get a
easy.
watch. So the only time I ask her for what time it is when my watch has this little dial down here, and this little dial, when it gets to 0, I have to ask her what time it is.
Because is it when you
And it
run
does
out
that
of battery?
frequently.
Does it run out of battery?
Yeah. Is that what that is?
I think so.
I have to go hook it to the umbilical that comes out of the wall?
Oh no, it's just time rebirth time.
Yeah.
Yeah, rebirth time.
There's a dongle umbilical thing coming out of the wall in the kitchen, and I take the other watch that's on the umbilical off and put my watch on, and then my watch
Do
knows
you
what
just
time
have
it is again.
two? Do you just swap them?
I don't know where your charger is. You have a charger of your own. I don't know where it is. Mine, and then you take mine when you leave. But
Mine's under my desk.
so you have a real one.
Uh-huh. I can go in my office right now and plug it in.
The fake one? You have two then? Because you have the one I bought off Amazon because I wanted a backup. That's the one you have. And you have one that came with your watch.
Yeah. I have one on the floor under my desk,
Uh-huh.
and then I have the one you gave me.
Okay.
So
You
there's
don't
two in
need
my
two.
office right now.
You don't need two.
Well, one's not plugged in.
One of
Technically,
them
I
needs
didn't.
to
Well, I
go
thought that
home.
one was mine, and then when I got back, mine was on the floor where it's supposed to be, because I told you mine was in my office. Just get it and use it. So I took the one from the house back here thinking it was mine, and I got here and it was still there. And I say, this is like magic. Now I have two.
I don't know what's on.
I didn't know what happened. So I was just excited I had two now.
See, I plan, and I put my watch on the charger every morning so that it's fully charged for the day.
If M&Ms melt in your mouth, not in your hands, do they count as chocolate milk? They can if you put them in milk.
Yeah.
By themselves, no.
M&M chocolate
and
milk
I
sounds
gotta go
great.
back because Jess777 actually had my answer, which is you buy the pre-made chocolate milk.
Oh!
Wait, you don't like pre-made chocolate milk?
Pre-made chocolate milk is the best.
I'll just go to a grocery store and buy a gallon of chocolate milk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially that kind in the glass bottle, the fancy kind in the glass bottle.
Fancy kind's pretty
That
good.
stuff's good.
I'm gonna be honest, I just go for the basic, just
the-
Dairy Gold
the
chocolate milk.
store
I want you
brand,
to-
the Kroger brand.
Next time you're at the store and you're buying the pre-made chocolate milk, I want you to inspect the date. Right?
What
the
date?
bad date,
That's
the
last
use by date
The pull date?
on pre-made chocolate milk, and I want you to explain to me how it's like usually a month further out than the regular milk expiration date.
Well, it's
The other
okay. I
ones
just eat it
are
really,
all
drink it really
lying
fast.
to us.
I just threw up a
Fine.
little bit in my mouth.
Can I get you some chocolate milk to wash it down?
Mom and Dad are fighting again. Turn on Mario 3. Punisher, when you're doing a protein shake. I think right now I'm having some sort of like, I don't know what the chocolate is in this. Protein,
It's a
chocolate,
Collagen
collagen.
protein.
Yeah, it's good.
Good for your joints.
Jess is like, I don't care about no stinking dates. Just milk. It won't kill you.
It's true. Until it does. And then
Look
we got
into
all
my
sorts of
eyes,
problems.
chat. Milk will do dastardly things past its expiration date.
Yeah, you don't want to be drinking past due.
Milk doesn't expire. It just accumulates flavor.
This is true.
Yeah.
This is true. Oh, Division. That was Division Ring.
Yeah.
All right.
That wasn't me.
He was singing the Peanut Butter Jelly Time song a minute ago, so I was about to jump through chat and strangle him.
Expiration date, even if it smells fine.
It's good until it's chunky, and then it's just cottage cheese.
Yeah.
Ooh. Jess says, I ain't dead yet. But you're closer. I'm
But you're
lactose intolerant.
closer.
Milk just hates me, but you know, chalky milk is love. Chalky milk is life. Dude, I am a chocolate milk fanatic. I have chocolate milk every day in one form or another.
And Jackal, you need to practice better tolerance. I mean, we have no place for intolerance in the world.
Yes, this is a show of tolerance.
Yeah.
There's no excuse for milk hate here.
Yeah.
God, I have weird employers.
I just love that Jen came up with that one out of nowhere. Jackal, this is no place for your intolerance. Those dang milkists.
Hey, look, they make stuff for you so that you can enjoy milk like the rest of us.
Promised Land. I know Promised Land. I've had Promised
the kind
Land
without
chocolate milk
lactose?
in the bottle from the store back east. I think it's called Promised Land, or is it just Promise?
Is that the kind without the lactose in it?
I don't know.
I mean, I'm gonna be honest. Lactose-free milk does not really taste any different than non-lactose.
Clover Farms, maybe.
It
Yeah.
tastes the same. I was living with my grandmother, and that's the only thing that we had in the fridge for milk.
This is the kind without lactose?
Yeah, and it tastes exactly the same. It's all the fat that imparts flavor.
Yeah.
And that's not the part that hurts you when you're lactose
So
intolerant.
put extra fat in it.
Yeah.
Thick and rich. I love it.
Now they have Lactaid,
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, lactate.
which is way too close to another word for me to ever drink
You drink soy milk and you hate it. Soy milk, I don't think it. There's the thing with soy that if you have too much, it's not good for you. But I like an almond milk or a coconut milk.
You know what milk I like a lot, although it's usually just a coffee thing for me, is oat milk.
Oat milk.
Oat milk is
It's
really good.
Have you had the oat milk, but like brown sugar, cinnamon? No, brown sugar, shaken oat milk, whatever concoction.
Oh, from Starbucks? No, I have
It's
not.
really good. It tastes like
Is
a
it really?
cookie, like an oatmeal cookie. Yeah,
Ooh.
it's very good. Not
I
quite as
tried
sweet.
to have Starbucks make my hot chocolate with oat milk. Not impressed.
No.
No.
No, it needs the coffee flavor to really balance it out a little bit.
To balance out the ass flavor from the oat milk.
Well, I don't know if I
But
would
yeah,
go
so
that far.
I get that one, the oat milk shaken espresso, the brown sugar one, but I reduce the brown sugar and add cinnamon flavor so that it's brown sugar cinnamon oatmeal. That makes it even
Okay.
You had me at cinnamon.
Yeah. Cinnamon makes everything
Good.
better. Like, way better.
The spice runs the galaxy.
It does. The spice must flow.
Spice must flow.
It is a great board game.
So, speaking of which, here comes the
Ooh, that
the
sounds
Dune
good.
rabbit
Big drink
hole.
with one
Oh, yeah.
bottle.
All right.
I will
Hit-
try that. That sounds amazing.
Hit me with the Dune rabbit hole. Let's go.
So I'm listening to the school series, and I'm almost to the end of this mega marathon of Mentats of Dune. And man, I forgot how hard it is to get through all of the moral ambiguities in Dune.
The moral ambiguities.
Yeah, the fact that you get especially in this series, you get the whole like, oh, I get where 40K came from. Like the Emperor of
This all
Mankind.
sounds familiar.
All of the horrible characters, and you're like, really, like, there are no good people in Dune. The only good people are the unfortunate planet side locals that die when anything happens. I get really, really lit up when we talk about Manfred Tarando. If you know Dune, and you know the leader of the Butlerians at this point in the timeline while the school books are happening.
Butlerians.
Butlerians? Like really Butlerians?
Huh?
I doubt it's
Butlerians,
B-U-T-T.
like
Butlerians.
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 Yeah. It's probably
No,
one
that's
T.
not at all, but I'm glad. That's just what they're called.
B-U-T-T-Larians.
Oh, like a butler. Okay. Seeing it in writing makes it different.
Yes. Butlerians.
Thank you, Paint Liquor.
Jen just like pointed to her butt and was like Butlerians. I'm like, sure, if that's what it takes.
So Division Ring, that's how I heard it.
I'm gonna be honest. That's what I got out of it too.
Yeah.
Except that's not a word, so it shouldn't have gone there.
I mean, Butlerian is not a
I
word
don't
either.
think it's a word the way it's really meant to be. I think it's all just made up stuff.
This is a sci-fi novel. It's all made up.
Jackal's House says, I came by to say something originally and got sucked into chat chaos, and I'm here for it. Yes, this is what we do.
This is
So now we're talking
is our
about the
life.
Butleriats. And it's kind of a weird fetish western, Dune, if you haven't read it. So the whole Butleriats
fetish
portion of it
Western.
is if you're not familiar with Dune, if all you've seen is
Butlerians.
Dune Part 1, the movie that came out recently, then you're in for a treat. because it doesn't really kick into high gear until the rodeo section of the next movie, right? Jen doesn't know, so she's like, "I'm down."
I'll watch the Barbie movie while you're
Doesn't that movie literally come out in like a month?
Yeah, into this month or into August. Yeah,
Oh, I'm
got to be
so
Team
down.
Worm that eats everybody. Yeah, I mean, when you're reading in Dune, you're at the point where you're like, yeah, I just need the worms to kill everybody. That would make the universe
I
a
just
lot better.
need the worms to kill everyone now.
I need that to kill everybody. That'd be good. Yeah, it's so out of control right now. I'm like the leader of the religious fanatics, basically, just irks me to no end.
What's
I
he
read the
doing?
book, I have to turn it off and like breathe.
Wait, what?
Oh, it's so bad.
Why?
Because they do such a good job in the interactions between these people of just making certain characters seem like you just want to jump through the book and strangle them.
Ah, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They do this, and just about every character is at that point right now.
They're like, I don't like anybody here. Can all of these characters go away?
It's not a good book unless you feel something. Oh, these are my favorite books. Don't get me wrong. I remember now. The school books are ones that I don't always go back and read. They, while being good, they're very long. And so if I'm in the midst of reading, like if I go through and I read the Butlerian Jihad, the Machine Crusade books, and then I go into Dune, I typically go from those into Dune because I already know the school books. They're long-winded, some of them. They're good reads, but but I'm doing it again. So I'm on the Mentats. I've read Sisterhood. Now I'm on Mentats and I'm nearly done. We're at the point where things are getting spicy. You thought Dune Part 2 doesn't come until November? I think it's August 25th. Clarkatron. I may be wrong. There may be some other movie I'm excited for coming August 25th, but I thought it was August.
And Jackal's House, we're so glad to hear that you love the brush cleaner and paint.
Heck
And,
yeah.
Streams are often a little unhinged in some. There's always going to be some good painting, but we might also talk about like what is best for mixing chocolate milk.
We have exactly. Jordan and I had been working on some of the Mineworks minis, so I was
Yeah.
painting Morgana Le Fay, and he was painting up
me go
the
grab her real
Sacrifice.
quick.
But we both are taking breaks
Yeah,
from,
I needed a little bit of a
from
break.
display painting, and I'm painting a model from our upcoming line. One of our heavy infantry, a big rhino with a sun cannon and solar panels on its back.
Googlebox says November for Dune, according to Punisher.
Oh, okay.
November.
Maybe so. You wish it was August. There must be something else like August. August 25th is stuck in my head as something that I was looking forward to. Now I have to try to figure out what that is.
Nova Open?
That is
No.
in fact Nova Open.
That isn't, actually. It's after that.
It's after.
Is it 28th? I think so, yeah.
Yeah, like the 28th to the 2nd. It's like the longest.
It's long.
It is
Freaking
actually the longest show.
Silly.
Because they actually do stuff on Wednesday,
Yeah.
which is wild.
Is it a painting stream if there isn't unhinged commentary? Wait. I take offense to this whole unhinged thing.
We're not
We are
unhinged.
very hinged.
Yeah.
We just go from open to closed a lot quicker than some.
Yes.
So is this a Warhammer style game or like a board game? It's a tactical combat game using miniatures, so more I guess like Warhammer, but it is less like Warhammer than other games.
Yeah, that sounds accurate.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's very accurate.
There's no dice. It's a diceless game. So I'll leave that out there for you.
Yeah.
It is a kind of like what I would call like a mid-range skirmish game, or maybe it's a skirmish game, but it's a lot different than you think of as skirmish games. It's a low model count. Every model acts independently of every other model. So it's skirmish, kind of warband size skirmishy in that regard, with the ability in our expansions to go much larger. I say much larger. We can double the playfield size from its initial 36 by 36 to 72 by 36 in an expansion. So if there's no dice, what are you supposed to throw at T when he wins? The models. His models, preferably. I would throw his models at him, to be specific. I don't mean to be that guy, but I've been MIA for a minute, Jess. Any time frame on brushes, or is this a no-ask topic currently? No, you're welcome to ask.
You're always welcome to ask. So the answer to this question is...
We're just supposed to stare at the camera.
How long do we do this?
Okay, cool. There we go. Glad we took care of that. Glad we took care of that. This stream is always unhinged. We are just a hinge. We're a very strong hinge, actually, which is why I take offense to that.
We have well-oiled
we
hinges.
flap all over the place.
Well-oiled.
And the door never comes off.
True.
The wheels, not so true.
Yeah, we have to keep replacing those.
The wheels come off all the time.
But
the
door
door is always
solid.
Very strong,
Rock
solid hinge.
Yeah.
It just flaps around a lot.
In fact, there's a lot of maintenance that goes on to maintaining those hinges on a daily basis.
Division
Jason
Ring
doesn't
says
have to
the
worry
stream's
about it.
broken. I'm getting a lot of drop frames after that brush question for some reason. Oh, we love you guys.
Soon TM.
We love you
But
guys.
not really soon. Did anyone answer?
No, technically not.
Okay. So, Jess, we may have some single sizes available in the next coming weeks in very limited quantities. We will not have sets because some are just completely gone. So what I've been telling people is to go onto the website and determine which sizes you want most and subscribe to the restock notifications for them. And that way, if we happen to put one in stock, you know, maybe we find 20 of them, we put them in stock, you'll get the notification. If you only sign up for the sets, it's going to be like September, maybe? Long time. So consider singles. Don't rule them out. And if you do 4 or more singles, you get the set discount price anyway. So try that. That's what we got right now.
We're working on it, chat. Well, blue for the tabard.
There also could potentially be some stores that still have stock because they bought a bunch.
Yeah.
Yeah, check with your local game
Yeah,
stores.
so check the store finder if there's anyone near you, see if they have them, or I don't know how people find them. Maybe they're just Googling Pro Sable set or something. I'm not sure. Finding them.
Go into the store locator, find out who's close.
Yeah.
Hunting.
Well, Division Ring, what is your FLGS? Maybe Jess can get some brushes from them.
Yeah, we've still seen people say, hey, I just got mine, picked them up today, love them. I'm like,
Yeah.
where the hell did you get brushes?
Division Ring said my FLGS has a few dozen brushes in stock.
Oh my gosh.
That's crazy.
There you go, Jess.
Call them up. Be
Yeah.
nice. Maybe they'll mail them.
I mean, there's so many of them that, you know, they'll ship. It doesn't have to be your local store. They'll ship.
A lot of them
Well,
will do that, yeah.
So Division Ring is not sharing the information.
What? Like, I have my personal stock of brushes, and you can't have them.
He's like, if I told you, then they would no longer have them in stock. But that was the whole point here.
Cream and you don't got none.
Yeah, exactly.
So
Got some
mean.
ice cream.
Oh, brush. We will. I mean, I don't want to say always, forever until the end of time have stock issues with brushes, but they go quick.
We still make our brushes the old-fashioned way.
Yeah.
So we have a hard time keeping up because it's not something where you can just hire day labor and make more brushes, unfortunately.
Yeah, they're not like mass produced in a gigantic factory with machines.
You wouldn't want those brushes anyways.
No, exactly.
We get them custom made by professionals.
Well,
who
Division Ring,
make brushes
maybe
for
can
a
you
long
maybe
time.
like send Jess a whisper or something so that, you know,
We want to be able to support those who need brushes.
You don't have to put it out into the whole world, but if Jess is trying to get brushes, maybe you can help him. See, now you're just being mean. That's right. It takes time for mommy and daddy brushes to make new brushes.
Yes.
There's
There's what we like to call the gestation period.
Oh, well, it's Canada, so that's probably not going to help. Unless, Jess, are you in Canada? Because if you are, that's where you
There it is.
There's
the link
right there. No. Okay, well, that link probably won't help you.
Well,
So if you buy them internationally, you're going to have
you can
the
still get
same
them.
issue
You can
that
still get
the
them.
Canadians complain to us about when they buy things from us.
And then we got to bring it back. It's like, oh,
Yeah.
who's laughing now?
It seems really odd to send all these brushes up there just for them to come on back. Oh.
Think about our customers in Germany who get the brushes, pay import customs on them, and then they say made in Germany.
Oh my god, I didn't even think about that.
We're not laughing at you, but
We're
we do
just
all of our QC stateside,
Yeah.
even though all of our brushes are.
No, we don't. Trust me, there are going to be 0 brushes at Gen Con.
No, none at
At
all.
the Monument Hobbies booth, 0.
We can tell you with 100%
100%
certainty.
confidence and certainty that there will be no brushes at the Monument
I
Hobbies booth.
can tell you for 1000% certainty. I went and double checked all the inventory that was going to Gen Con. There are no brushes in there.
No. We actually had customers get mad at us last time when we pulled stock to take to shows.
Yeah.
And didn't put it on the store. And we thought about it around here, and we're like, you know what? This time we're just going to put it all in the store and
We're gonna
let nature run its course. And
Yeah.
it took 4.5 hours, and the brushes were gone. So there's nature for you.
Nature was very quick to act. Nature wanted brushes delivered, and so it happened.
Mo's Magic, what's up?
Mo,
Hello.
what's up, Mo? How goes the Mo on this fine Monday afternoon?
Mo, I gave your model to Baby J, so it's his fault if it doesn't get there quick.
Jen, we have Mo's info, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. I'll try and get this thing boxed out.
Hey, Jordan.
Yep.
That was throwing you under the bus.
Was it?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
It's
Because it's gonna happen.
his fault now, Mo.
See, it would be like if it was 2 months later and it still hadn't happened, and you're like, oh, I put that thing on Jordan's desk like 2 months ago. Wonder why it hasn't gotten there yet. You should talk to Jordan. That's throwing somebody under the bus.
Only if I didn't really give it to you.
Yeah.
Or even if you did,
No, that's just telling the truth at that point.
that also is throwing people under the bus, though.
No, it's not how that works. You don't understand what that means.
If someone has actually done something,
It's not throwing them under the bus.
yeah.
You're throwing them under the bus as a sacrifice to you having messed up. That's what throwing under the
That's
bus.
true.
So, like, if Jason had done the wrong thing and blamed it on you...
In 2 months,
because-
if that miniature
yes.
is still on my desk, and we're on this stream, and I go, hey, Mo, have you gotten your miniature yet? Well, I gave it to Baby J 2 months ago.
Yeah.
Now you got it.
There you go. See, I'm so bad at this throwing people under the bus thing. How could you?
You're actually very good at it. I've seen it happen. This is the reason why we're making a graphic of a bus with your face on it.
Do I get to look at this graphic before it's approved?
Oh, that was never part of the agreement.
Oh no. I'm concerned.
I'm sure we will let you look at it.
That doesn't mean much.
That doesn't mean you get to have any say.
I'd like to have some say. A little bit.
Mm?
Can I have a little bit of say? It's like my physical representation at this company. This is a big deal. This is a big deal. Okay, I'm screwed.
Yeah, okay, I'm screwed.
I'm done for, chat. Baby J is no
Gosu's
longer.
like, I have backups to my backups of my monument brushes.
Yeah, it's because you guys bought like 11 gajillion of them. You didn't buy 11 gajillion of them because we didn't have 11 gajillion of them. But you bought all the ones that we did have.
Jordan, are you doing anything that people should see? Because we're still on just one.
I am currently fixing a head right now. But soon, yeah.
Okay.
I had a head pop off while I was
Ha!
attempting to paint stuff. Okay. Now I'm prepared to show things. Cool recipe from my old Gene Stealer Colts days. We're bringing it back. The tan with the burnt sienna undertones. And we're going to do the orange suits. With the blue. Yeah, Gosu, I did a thing over the weekend. Which involved me acquiring a vast sum of models.
Oh, is this also what caused you to be out in the heat for 45 minutes?
Yeah. Yeah, I went out to trade with this guy, and he was very, very nice. And we talked for 45
But
minutes.
you met in like an outside location instead of going.
I mean, we were at a store, but we met outside the store. I don't know why we didn't go in. That
Could have got inside.
didn't make a lot of sense, but
All right.
you know,
It happens. Made it through.
I
Now you know you can do it.
yeah, my body's a little, you know,
Yeah.
doing okay.
A little tender.
A little tender,
Yeah.
yeah.
You have aloe vera spray.
No,
Should get some of that.
Mist.
Base.
Do
Put
they
it in the
have like
fridge.
aloe mist?
Yeah, you can get it in a spray. Put it in your refrigerator.
That sounds refreshing.
It's very refreshing. It's
Okay.
quite nice.
Okay. Can you find it at a local grocery store near you?
Probably.
Okay.
It might be not close to the strawberry shortcake cups. Did you find them?
No, but I need to do that.
Oh, you know what? I should have got them. I was at the grocery store yesterday. I walked by and I was like, he's got
Those.
them by now.
He's got them by now. No, I haven't gone to the grocery store. I've been holding off because I'm like,
Is the Safeway on Osborne, is that your store?
yeah, usually.
So when you walk in, they're like right there. in the
Really?
front. Yeah.
Mm.
Yep. There's like a big display thing.
That,
has
some
cut
strawberries,
fruit
and a little bit of
stuff
ice
and-
cream.
yeah.
Maybe I know where I'm going after work. Sounds pretty good. What do you think, Jason? Should I go?
I'm not listening to you people.
I'm not listening to
I'm
you
not
people.
listening to you people. You lost me at Gene Stealer Cults.
I know you don't like Gene Stealer
That
Colts.
store might not have any good aloe vera for you though, because they're very limited in their non-grocery items.
They're limited in their non-grocery items.
Yes, like I was trying to get Jason some travel size stuff. For the
They
Denver
don't
trip.
have anything for travel sized.
They do have some, but it's super expensive.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
They
Well-
don't have anything for what?
travel size stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Well, the funny thing is, most of the things that you would need to take are already travel sized. Like deodorant and toothpaste. Those.
No, you can't take a thing of toothpaste.
Yes, you
toothpaste.
can.
I got mine taken away.
They're 3.4 ounces, which is exactly the limit on how much that you can take with you.
When I was traveling, and now this has been several years, but I traveled a lot for work, and the very first week that I went out for travel, I had a full tube of full size toothpaste.
Yeah.
In my suitcase.
Yeah, the 3.4 ounce.
And on the last trip of that week, so I'd flown this was probably my 5th flight of the week. At and I hadn't been to that airport yet, and went through security, and they're like, "Oh, you can't travel with that." I'm like, "I've done it 5 times. This is the 5th time this week that I have."
Sounds like some TSA
They took it
agents just
away.
being
They took it away.
a pain. Because all of those
Jason
regulations
lost his-
should be universal between all of the airports in the United States.
Yeah, Jason lost. What did you lose?
Hair gel.
Hair gel.
That's so odd.
And I was gonna buy the little travel size one, and it was more expensive than
A full
the
size
full
one.
size one.
Yeah.
So I did not get it at Safeway.
Yeah, deodorant I've never had a problem with.
Well, that's solid.
Yeah. Yeah. I haven't done toothpaste a ton, but I have done it before, and
that's been fine.
yeah. And I mean, I've looked at the. I was when we were at in Texas. I was looking at the thing, and it said 3.4, and I was like, oh, my toothpaste is definitely fine. Yeah, it's weird. We got a Christmas sushi in the chat.
Lies.
Lies. Sorry, that's not a Christmas sushi. It looks an awful lot like one, but this one is not the same. Hi, imposter Christmas sushi.
Ask him how many children he has.
How many children he has?
Yeah.
Oh.
Chris and I actually played a game of 40K on Sunday. He said 4.5.
4.5 kids.
Yeah. Does that check out?
Yeah, it might actually be him.
His comment about fighting the Gene Stealers were rough. Sounds correct. Because it did seem pretty unbalanced at 1,000 points. To be honest.
Stop playing Games Workshop games at 1,000 points, people.
It was fine. It worked for exactly what we were trying to do. We weren't trying to have a balanced game. We were just trying to figure out how the core mechanics of the game worked. Hi, Avian. How's it going? Gaz was so fun to play. It was pretty funny. If you're lucky with Gazgul, you're going to have a great time. As long as you don't roll ones, you're in for a treat. So just take the one off your die, and you're good. Because it turns out you can't kill that guy unless you roll a saving throw of a 1. And then all bets are off.
Clark John said, I keep hearing about this game you can play with these toys.
You're like me. I got no interest in these games.
I'm supposed to play with these?
I enjoy playing games from time to time. In fact, I need to schedule some Friday night game night stuff for when we're back. I'm excited about the opportunity. Still trying to play some Titanicus, which you happen to like, if I recall.
Not enough.
You don't like it
I
enough?
don't play these games. I'm in my mode of I would prefer to sit around and heckle everybody else that's playing.
Heckle everyone else that's playing.
Avian said, well, I have to thank Monument for their paint. The black-green glides over the miniature like butter. Put that dark gray primer on, then coal black, and finally the black-green. Monument, where have you been all my life? How old
right here.
are you?
How old are you? Is that what you just
I can
asked?
tell ya.
That is awesome that you're having a great experience with it, though.
Yes,
We love to hear that.
You're 50? Well, so for the first 45 years of your life,
We haven't been here.
That's awesome. We love to hear that it makes you feel better about your painting.
That was the whole goal. So that is one of the biggest compliments we ever get. Is when people just realize how much better their painting gets almost instantaneously using the paints.
Paints that elevate the
You were a
painter.
painter all along.
Got to give you all the right tools. Make the job easy.
Ghosty, that's awesome. Thank you. Ghosty said, I've converted 2 of my friends to Acryl, and just seeing how much they like it makes me feel like I did my job and I don't even work for you guys.
That's funny.
I like it. I just like it when people want other people to know when they find something good.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
To be fair, I did the same thing with one of my buddies when I got here.
Told them about it?
Yeah, I was like, hey, I'm going to work for this paint company. You should try out their paint because it's awesome.
Because there's so many people who are like, I made this awesome thing, but I'm not going to tell you how I did it or what I used. And they're very protective about it. So I love when people are willing to share.
Yeah, now he's just like, when's the new paint come out? When can I order it?
Our hobby has generally been good for that. It's very obviously like anything where you have a passion about it, it can be very opinionated and such. But I do love the fact that it's very helpful. People more often than not are like, hey, you know, they ask questions. That's one of the big things I see. You're looking across social media. Somebody says, hey, I'm looking to get some new paints, or I'm looking to get some new hobby supplies. The public by and large will ask questions. They'll be like, so what are you looking to do? What kind of painting do you like to do? And that's where I know that the community really has the best intention, as opposed to the standard, you know,
Well,
throw out brand name A.
There's always going to be people who don't want to answer those questions, you know, like, or they'll say things like, you shouldn't be, you know, you shouldn't focus everything on just one brand, which is true.
Yeah, or the people that are like, don't pay for hobby brands.
Yeah.
They're really expensive, and,
Yeah.
and you can just get it
Just
at
get
Hobby
it.
Lobby
Yeah, just
and
get
pick
it.
the crap paints. And
No,
I'm like,
no, don't do that.
Yeah.
well, you can. Show us on the doll where the big bad corporations touched you. Starting in with the Payne's Gray that I based all of the guns and things in, or blades, and just mixing in some khaki to get this lighter color right now. Big fan of dark blue, Payne's Gray, into khaki for the base for steel. Makes life very simple. Gives a really good workup. You can switch over to gray blue pretty early on if you want to keep it in more of a blue steel kind of realm, or you can continue working into the khaki, which is what I'll do, so that we can get a little bit more yellowy weathered look almost. Notice I will start adding texture in. You can see my erratic paint marks there as they're still wet on that blade. But I am still at base coat level. I'm not necessarily at highlights or shine for non-metallic or any of that right this minute.
Uncle Yeti, thank you for the follow.
Thank you for the follow, Uncle Yeti.
Hey, somebody likes us.
Somebody likes us. Oh, we really got to figure out a better solution for the sound effects.
Well, that was Gabe's job.
What a lazy guy. He's like on the road, going on a road trip with Phil.
What was Gabe's job?
Get the alerts.
Sort out the
to fix
alerts.
Working better.
Yeah.
Deal with it for like 2.5 weeks now.
That's all right. I'll make him.
Not really though, because you guys will be.
I was gonna say, unless
streaming.
you're streaming by yourself.
I am not.
Stream, are we getting a treat?
I
I
am
think
not
Jen just
doing
admitted
that.
she was streaming by herself
No.
while we're gone. That's awesome, babe.
Chat's very excited to hear this.
I don't have
They
time for
actually
that.
would be, but she won't give them the.
Well, if you guys are both not here, someone's got to do that work. Time to stream when I have to do everyone else's jobs.
Oh, we just had one of our employees break his hand too.
Yeah.
So
Oh my gosh.
poor
yeah.
Jen's picking up all the slack lately.
Ugh,
Not his dominant hand, thankfully.
oh my god.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, you know,
I
I
have
never
thought
even think
about
about that because my hands are just like so important that I'm like, it doesn't
Yeah,
matter
it
which
doesn't matter
hand
one.
breaks.
He's been
It's
actually doing fine out there today.
good.
I mean, I know when it comes time to like picking up boxes and stuff, it'll be a little more difficult, but we've been managing.
No, it looked like he was
Yeah.
doing pretty good. Keeping it going.
Yeah.
Yeesh.
Never a good time to break a hand.
I have not
Period.
done that yet. And I hope that I never do.
Have you ever broken any bones?
No.
No.
No, luckily. I've sprained some. I think I've had a hairline fracture once. But I've never broken a bone. Using some good old Payne's Gray to get all these little riffly armor pad things. Football pads, shin guards, practice sparring equipment.
What is this person that you're painting, Jordan?
This is
A traitor.
a trader, yeah.
What I
It is a model called a Biologist.
what's going on his head?
He's got have you ever seen the Borg from Star Trek?
I'll Google it really quick.
It's kind of that.
Okay.
Except, yeah, just kind of like that. It is definitely what it's inspired from, for sure. Ah, yes.
So it's some kind of helmet. Oh, that.
Yeah. Very much inspired by.
So does he? Is the idea of this Borg that like the machine is his brain or something?
For those,
Yeah.
so the Borg
So it's
are
like mechanical stuff all on their head.
so their whole thing in the Star Trek universe is that there's like a Borg queen. It's like kind of like a hive mind
Okay.
for the entirety of all of
Oh,
the
I see.
Borg
Queen. She doesn't
things.
have anything on her head. She bald?
No, she's also technically a robot.
Oh, maybe I'm just seeing something.
Yeah, their whole thing is they assimilate other races and beings into the collective, and for the purpose of like growing and becoming more knowledgeable slash perfecting. I don't know. You probably know how to better describe this than I do. I'm doing a crappy job.
Why are we comparing the Borg to Gene Stealer cults?
No, the Gene Stealer cults guy has like the big like eyeball thing. The like the
Oh, it's an
helmet.
optic.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
didn't know what the Borg was, so I had to look up the
And I was
Borg.
trying
Now
poorly
I'm
to explain
asking
what they were.
questions.
They're they're cybernetic organisms.
He's got an implant,
Yeah, he has
an ocular
an
implant.
ocular implant. Although I don't think it is because he's wearing glasses. Like, I can't zoom in anymore.
No, I don't know what Borg are, Jess. Sorry. I was not a Star Trek fan.
they are a bad guy race
So
in the Star Trek
when I
universe.
googled it, I saw a picture of Captain Picard with.
He was once assimilated into the collective.
So he was bad for a while.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Became a large part of his character growth over the course of the rest of his life
Oh.
in the Star Trek universe.
Got infected by an alien, and he was like half alien, half human.
These guys.
That's
yeah.
what that is. Okay.
These guys, yeah.
Not the Borg.
No.
Okay.
No. I was explaining to you what the Borg were.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because that's what I asked.
Yes.
Yes.
These guys are hybrid alien humans
Gotcha.
that pretend that they're humans and then do the whole traitor stuff. Hence the traitors.
I mean,
Yeah.
that seems like something an alien would do.
Yep.
And how do we know? How do I know that you're not an alien, Jordan?
You don't.
I don't.
Yeah.
There,
Maybe I am, and I'm
I
just
know.
very convincing at being a human. Or
it
maybe
sounds like.
the weirdness that is me might just be my alien bit showing.
Could be.
Yeah.
But I'm
Your
seeing all
bits are
this
showing?
stuff now about aliens and how they found there was some hearing. Did you guys see this? This like Congress. This guy went in front of Congress and sat there and talked about how they found biological matter from some wreckage, and it was not human biological matter. You didn't see this?
No.
This happened last week. You guys know what I'm talking about?
Avian Baby J is a Terminator. Baby J is definitely an alien. Oh, I've done this to myself.
I know the Defense Department can't track billions of dollars from an audit. And I know all sorts of other things are happening, so seems like the perfect time to stick a dupe in front of Congress and say, hey, we found aliens.
Yeah. The funny thing
But
is,
don't get me started.
the best way that I've had it described to me is that, you know how all these government organizations have really dated technology and are slow to do anything because everything is inefficient?
Mm-hmm.
They're like, turns out that's just all of the government.
So here, it's
like there ain't a whole lot of special stuff going on.
July 26th. Whistleblower tells Congress the U.S. is concealing multi-decade program that captures UFOs. This
Cool.
is a guy who says the U.S. is concealing a long-standing program that retrieves and reverse engineers unidentified flying objects. A former Air Force intelligence officer testified Wednesday to Congress. So he testified to Congress. The Pentagon has denied his claim.
Yep.
Yeah, and then they came back and said, oh, but we don't refer to them as UFOs. We call them UAPs. So that's why we said we hadn't captured any UFOs, is because that's not terminology we use.
That sounds like some.
The TLDR of the articles, he knows a guy who said.
Yeah.
Oh, the
Hearsay
whistleblower was
and
like,
conjecture is
"Hey,
all I
I
saw
heard a
out of
guy
the
tell me
entire
once
thing.
that this thing did, that these guys did this thing."
Oh, unidentified aerial phenomena, which is now the official term instead of UFOs.
Yeah. So, very interesting.
I was informed in the course of my official duties of a multi-decade UAP crash retrieval and reverse engineering program to which I was denied access. So yeah, someone told him, but he didn't.
I was denied access because I'm a lunatic and it didn't exist.
Yeah.
He
Or,
left
or
that
it
part
wasn't
out.
what you thought it was.
He left that part out. Nothing he said was technically false. I was denied
It just
access to a
wasn't
program
all
I
true.
had heard about. He just left out the part because it doesn't exist.
Or that everybody didn't know exactly what the program was, so they were just speculating. Silly goofballs.
I'm of the I'm of the court that says that if aliens were hanging around, if they had the technology to fly across space to come here, right, they would not be observing us in a benign way. That's just ludicrous talk.
What would they be doing?
The only reason they would be here is because they need something from our planet or from us, and we'd be gone.
Yeah, either they can get it without us knowing or caring.
Yeah,
or
we'd be done.
Yeah,
we'd be
or,
done.
or we would
we
just
would
be gone.
to them, right? When you talk to scientists that actually go through like the whole paradox and like alien life, that if there were UFOs that had traveled across the stars and gotten here, that were not domestic of some sort, right? They were able to travel across the depths of space and had that technology. We would be akin to ants to them. We would offer nothing. Like they literally, like us walking through an anthill would be the same thing. You might get bitten and be annoyed by it, but they would literally take what they needed and be gone. So unless they're just coming and taking what they need while we're asleep at night and leaving, but they'd have no reason to wait for us to be asleep. There would be no need for subterfuge. They would just come and mine whatever they needed and leave the dumb apes behind.
Unless it's like some big plot that all of the chaos and turmoil in the world right now is caused by them.
So this is where the science fiction books of teenagers who travel across a galaxy to just troll alien species come from, right? Because there's absolutely nothing they would gain from coming here and being like, hey, let's stir it up. Look at these guys, right? Look at these guys.
Let's stir the pot.
It's like the Far Side. It's like the Far Side where the UFO's flying around, and it's like, Bob, why are you letting them see us? You know, or like the Star Trek Prime Directive, you know, kind of nonsense.
Yeah,
I like this.
It's like, they don't want to interfere with lesser advanced civilizations.
No, they wouldn't bother wiping us out. You say that xenophonetic as if they would come here to kill humanity. They would come here to take something from our planet, either the planet, and they would just inhabit it because theirs was gone or dying, or they would come here and take resource that they need, water, gold, something, you know, oil, and you just have like a mosquito chunk would fall from the sky one day and suck up everything they needed, and then you'd never see them again.
But maybe we're just the strong. Maybe Jordan is an alien, and we just can't tell.
I'm an alien.
Maybe you're an alien, and I just can't tell. Maybe I'm like the strong one here.
Xenobond, I've always liked the joyride thing. It's just drunken teenagers from outer space that came by here, and they're on their year-ender before they graduate, and they're just screwing around with the monkeys. Well, there's a bunch of sci-fi trope that goes that way, and it's some of my favorite stuff where like a bunch of aliens come on, like they're on a vision quest at the end of their graduation or whatever. They showed up here, and one of them fooled around with some apes and got left behind because he was drunk, and they'd forgotten tabulated everybody that was on board, and they left, you know, and left him here, and he became Jesus and the Godhead, right? Because he had nowhere else to go, so he just decided to stick around and screw with the apes, you know?
Screw with the apes.
It's hilarious, man. These tropes are absolutely
amazing.
fun. There are people having fun with the thing that's like, hey, history can be defined as easily as you've done it in the hieroglyphics and everything by saying that an alien got left behind on his high school field trip and got bored and created humanity, you know?
Got bored and created humanity.
Well, because anybody that could fly here on a school bus from another dimension or from another galaxy
is now God.
A 13-year-old could create life at that point, right? So those things are fun. They obviously have you know, you still have to have that disbelief or that suspension of disbelief active.
Sure,
because, you know, it's not hard sci-fi, but
no.
But I like the bored alien teenagers thing. But then that leads me to the whole simulation theory thing.
It's the Matrix all along.
I like what Jess says, that aliens roll up the windows and lock the doors when they pass by Earth.
Roll up the windows and lock the doors.
Roll them up. Lock the doors.
Yeah, exactly. They roll up the windows and lock the doors. Big Bob, that explains why Mustang's still around.
Huh?
Big Bob says that would explain why Mustang is still around. Mustang Palmer.
That was going to be my other point, was that maybe we're the aliens. We're here.
We're all aliens.
Summer Mythos basically says that we were engineered to work for them. I like that theory. There's a very interesting theory. If you look through a lot of places in the world where gold mines are, there's a lot of evidence that shows that where we have been able to mine what are to us major veins of gold are in areas where most of the gold had there's really good science that shows that most of the gold was extrapolated from that area way predating us, and that they engineered humans, right? And that the skip in the fossil record could be because they came down here, DNA manipulated, grew a race of slaves called humans to help them mine the gold. I still think that's very far-fetched, because if you flew here from across space, you don't need slaves to do stuff for you, unless you're like one dude.
Yeah.
If you're one dude in a ship, but even then you flew across space, your ship and your AI can do everything you needed slaves to do. Like, people just don't get it. It's so difficult. It's because we have so much sci-fi, we just think that, oh, we're going to get there in my lifetime. We'll be flying to Mars. No.
No.
Not in the way Star Wars works. This is not how science works. You know? So I'm of the mindset that if there are aliens that have traveled across the stars to be here, we're meaningless. They're not here for us. They don't care about us. And that would be the only thing that would explain why we see them rarely, because they're not trying to stay off our radar or anything.
Yeah.
You know?
I could see in the next 50 years there being people on Mars. Not like settlement-wise, but having people like go to Mars.
They can't even put people back on the moon, Jordan. So you're wrong.
Well,
And why would they care about gold? The best conductor we know of for electricity. Right? Gold could be, I mean, obviously I don't think they're trying to make, dookie gold chains for interstellar rap bands, but that could be a thing.
Ooh, I'd go to that concert.
That could be a book we could write. I love all of this. I love talking about all this because there's some really interesting stuff you can look at. And again, because we don't have a historic record, right, from the dawn of mankind that talks about all this, you can interject anything you want. And you can tie those things together because you're looking for answers. You can create the answers based on the loose data we have, right? Like all of the big spots in South America where you can see these near perfect circles that are indentions in the earth that run a line like, I don't know, 40 miles long or something like that. That it looks like somebody drew circles on the planet when you're up above looking at them in the hills.
Yeah.
And that's a very gold-rich area.
Oh, yeah.
And so they've thought that they had big, beams hit the ground, and these cylinder beams hit the ground and just extract all of the ore out of it, Big vacuum cleaner vacuumed up all the gold.
and can you imagine what would happen one day if, like, we happen to prove that aliens exist? All the people are like, I told you so.
Xenophonetic. Platinum is a good conductor, but platinum is very weak. Gold is better at the long term. Efficiency-wise. Platinum is also super rare. It's more rare than gold, so maybe they came and got all the platinum. Right? That's that whole theory that why are these minerals rare when they shouldn't be, And
Is platinum not?
there are some
something that should
geologists
be
out
rare?
there that are like, these should not be rare minerals, that they're just all gone. Where did they go? And this is Randall Carlson stuff, and I'm here for it. I like all this stuff. It's fun. Dragonfire says, oh no, Mo says Cowboys and Indians, but we're the Indians. Well, that's the argument that's been made for a long time, but that's not the case, because the difference between sailing from one landmass to another landmass and colonizing and taking over from the indigenous people there that were behind you in technology is not a logical progression to I sailed across the stars and came to your planet, and you haven't had space flight yet, right? That's not the same. Jess, yeah, exactly, right? Right? Xenophonetic, but again, you're not looking at it from the standpoint of you can't make like microchips and things and microcircuitry out of ceramics. Too brittle. You have to have high tensile strength still from the heat. Unless something's changed overnight. But ceramics, yes. Aliens turned all the platinum into paint pigment. Then they ate it. Damn it, Xenobond!
How'd you get us?
You've had a few girlfriends who are 100% aliens fight me.
Oh my gosh.
I can't argue with that. I feel like that would get me nowhere.
My girlfriend is an alien. Please help.
You tripped across this site a while back that really drives hard the distance between stellar bodies. It's ridiculous when you look at the scale of it, right?
Oh, how far away stuff is?
Yeah, it's stupid.
Yeah, it's insane.
It's stupid. Like, you listen to a conversation that says, hey, given the knowledge that NASA has now and that they have been collecting for decades of the ability of, like, just habitable zones around stars in our galaxy, right? And it's like 100,000 or something. I think it's upwards of 100,000+ habitable zones that look like they have planets in them. Mm-hmm. We can't tell, but it looks like that's the case. And so then that's what everybody extrapolates. Like, well, what are the percentage chances that one of them has a planet like Earth in the habitable zone that just so happens to have a tidally locked moon and has the ability to create life like us, you know? And now you're just talking out your butt.
Welcome,
everybody
Raiders.
that does it, he's just talking out their butt.
You've joined us.
Reaper, what's going on?
Reaper.
In deep philosophical alien talk right now.
We're talking about how the aliens are here. What's going on, Reaper?
That's what you all walked into.
Like, what on earth did we walk into? Monday morning conversation about aliens.
KTC?
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 Yeah, gold is the most economical, high production, least brittle conductor. Right. But we're not talking superconductors. We're talking about aliens mining gold.
Hello.
KTC, what's going on? Doc a Flock of Flame, what's happening? Good to see you. Welcome, everybody. We're painting and talking about how they're distracting us with alien talk. And now we're distracting you with alien talk so that I don't have to paint my model.
I can't believe that we spent the better part of today talking about aliens.
We haven't. We only spent like the last 15 minutes.
Yeah, so we talked about chocolate milk.
We talked about chocolate milk.
Yeah, we did talk about chocolate milk.
Right? We talked about what the proper definition of throwing someone under the bus is.
That's true. You know,
It's only been the last 15 minutes that we've been talking about chocolate.
My perception of time is not
warped.
great.
Yeah, warped.
It's not great.
KTC. So over there we've got some Gene Stealer cults that Jordan picked up in a trade that he is doing a new 40k army with. So using our wonderful Pro Acryl to do some basic eBay rescue.
Yep.
Stuff. I am painting a model from a game that we are currently in development on here internally. It is a large, heavy infantry, right? It's like a dreadnought-sized rhinoceros.
It's a big guy.
Humanoid.
It's a large model.
With a sun gun and solar panels on him.
So Xenophonetic
he is bigger than your Contemptor dreadnought, class dreadnought. Not quite as big as a
saying
Redemptor.
that we are denying it because we're the aliens, and that explains some of the painting skill quality. So we need to end the stream right now.
I'm going to need to have him removed. Enact Plan 62.84311.
Wipe everybody's
-512.
memory. Xenophonetic never existed.
Xenophonetic, we need you to look at the camera. Look into your monitor real quick.
I will
It's
post
not
up.
August yet.
Yeah, I will post it up tomorrow. Once we get everything closed, or tonight even.
You gotta wait for
But we
one
do
month
need to figure it out
before you can start the next month.
It's true.
Your favorite movie alien might be Tilda Swinton in The Dead Don't Die.
The Dead Don't Die.
Never heard of it.
I've never heard of it either.
Go so you'll actually have time to paint in August. Well, we will have a theme worked up by the end of tomorrow's show.
Mm-hmm.
Because tomorrow's show is July's.
It is still July today.
July's review happens tomorrow, which we have kind of scooted up. We're usually not that on the ball. But
I'm on the ball.
But we have to be on the ball because Jordan and I are at Gen Con for the rest of the week.
Yes.
So Jordan and I get on an airplane Wednesday and go to Gen Con, so we won't be back until the following Tuesday or Wednesday. We have a lot going on the week we get back, too, so it's going to be crazy around here.
Oh, yeah. I didn't even think about that. Lots of stuff going on, chat.
Xenobond says, being 50% alien, I
I
approve these conversations. Nobody can, see, that's the thing, nobody can prove you're not.
Correct.
Right? So you can literally walk around and say you're 50% alien, and then everybody can laugh at you, but they can't say you're wrong. They can't prove it.
I'm 72.578% alien.
KTC says, so tell us more about this new game y'all are developing. So we have a game that we are making. We actually are making quite a few games. The first two that are going to be being released are more board. Well, I don't know if it's fair to call them. I always get. It's weird to say something's a board game.
I would classify it as a board game.
Well, okay,
personally.
So they're board games, but they're card games.
Yeah,
they're card games. The first one is a card fighter. It is like the best way I can describe it is like Tekken Tag. If you know video game tag team fighting games. Or like Street Fighter, where they do the tag ends and things like that.
Yeah.
So
Tekken's
you basically
probably
pick two characters, and you go up against your opponent, who also picks two characters. You pick their abilities from a group of 6. You pick 4 that each character has, and then you fight it out, and you just duke it out until one person wins. It's a very quick, fun game. We are doing miniatures for those, where the miniatures are less of a function of the game, although you can use them as your character avatars in the game. But they're just going to be really cool 75mm art miniatures for the game that come for all of the standard characters in the game at launch. So that we hope to be having the final touches put together soon, and then we're looking for either late this year, but probably Q1 2024 release on that one. Then we have another, what would I call it? Sports brawler?
Yeah.
I guess is fair.
I think that's
everybody immediately is going to think it's a Blood Bowl game, which it isn't. But it's a lot of fun, and it is a sports brawler, I think, if we have to call it something like that. And it's a really fun take on sports.
I'm super excited for that.
Another one that is miniatures adjacent, I would say, because it will have miniatures for the team manager that you get to portray. So you would pick a manager that best reflects your way of playing games and the way you want the theme of your team to run, and then you would paint up your miniature for that. And then you run the team, which is not miniature-based. And then our game, the one that the Rhino comes from, is a full-on skirmish game that has up to... Right now, it's up to 10 miniatures a side. We had to do some play testing and balancing off of that, but I think 9 or 10 is going to wind up being the max at point size for match play. So it's very much a warband skirmish-sized game. Highly tactical movement, no dice. It is a non-dice game, like none at all. It is also not a Malifaux-esque card-based game. There is no RNG for numbers in our game, so I'll let you stew on that. But that's the thing that's really taken it over the edge for me. I've been designing this game for over a decade now, and I think we finally got the I's dotted and T's crossed. We're having a good time with it. And we're into what I would call sub-early alpha. I don't know. We've done a lot of play testing around here with it already. We're about to break things out and start balancing factions. But there will be 6 playable factions on release, and a 7th faction that is a support faction, if that makes any sense. Meaning that everybody has access to the support faction to add to their build. And then you have one of the other 6 factions that you'll choose. So lots of stuff. Rules free. So it's, yes, we won't sell rule books. Basically, you will get everything you need to play when you buy a faction. So there's no what I would call core rule book. The rules are such that they'll be available PDF for free. We won't be selling, a rule book. And then really all you do is you buy the models and components that you want that fit your playstyle or that you think look cool, and then you got the whole game you need. So there's nothing outside of the faction you're playing that you need to play the game. Your terrain and things like that, but technically that's all in faction. So there is faction terrain, there is faction part of the board you play on. So pretty much you just buy what you think looks cool and you're ready to go. So it's easy. Sub-early alpha. I never know what to call it.
Early alpha.
I don't know what to call it. We're far enough along in playtesting here that a couple of the employees are beating me up on when are we going to playtest more. So there you go. You really like the mix and match vibe for choosing your army, Gosu? Yeah, it really is. One of the big things we wanted to make sure of is that, we got Reaper miniatures in here. And, if you had models that you would purchase from Reaper that you really love, you'd spend a lot of time playing with, painting up, and you love the paint jobs, you can use probably a sizable amount of that. Base sizes are limited in their ranges. The game goes up to a 75 millimeter base right now. So anything above that, like big Titans from GW or things like that, don't have a place in the game at launch. There is hope for an expansion, assuming the public likes the game well enough. We have expansions planned that would let you go up to what we would call super heavies. That would probably be in the neighborhood of about 100 millimeter ish base, so it'd be pretty big at that point. But the initial game, as long as you have a base size of 75 millimeter or down, you can find a place for all of your miniatures that you currently own to fit into the game. So if you don't like big rhinos with sun guns and things like that, if the aesthetic of the 6 factions as we release them doesn't match anything you like, or if you just prefer to give a game a try that doesn't require you to spend the money on the miniatures, then there is a scaled back costing of our game that really only requires you to purchase the faction specific utility stuff, and you can play with the miniatures that you already own. So you could bring Space Marines and play with them, you could bring Care Bear models, you could bring My Little Pony, you could bring things from the gumball machine at your grocery store, so long as they're on the proper base size and you've shown some hobby modeling with them, then we're good, because we're a hobby company first and foremost. We want to see people have fun with the hobby. So the goal for us is to really generate a lot of creativity to make your army look and play the way you want it. So the game is written to do that for you. Gosu, man, if you can't tell, I am super stoked to show it to you. It's Alpha 0.1, yes.
Will there be fluff for this game?
Yes, we actually already have a novella written. We have a 42,000 word novella written that has to go through one last edit pass. Well, not really an edit pass. I have to do some high-level concept editing to it. But it's been done for 6 months, 8 months, I think, right? Yeah. So we had an author in Colorado write us a novella. It's very neat. We have a lot of world building done already, and we will find new ways to introduce the storyline into that as we get closer to release. So there will be, stories in the rules. There'll be storyline stuff in each of the faction boxes that you get. It is more of a, how to put this? This is the thing that always gets me. It's less about the characters in your army and more about the world in which the characters revolve. That's the thing.
Yes.
It's a true environment and world building experience so that you get to make your army part of that world how you see fit, but you will see how the narrative drives forward regardless of the fact that we don't have a Emperor and a Lionel Johnson or any of that.
We don't have Goleman.
Yeah, we're not trying to build a real character-driven narrative. We're trying to build a world that you feel comfortable driving your own character into. So that's the goal.
Man, just talking about it's getting me hyped about it.
Xenophonetic, your example of Care Bears and My Little Pony says a lot about what?
That's what I was going to ask too.
Says a lot about... Question mark?
KTC, thank you for the sub.
Thank you for that sub.
Thanks for the Twitch Prime.
Well, huzzah,
Yeah, it'll let you do anything. I mean, I really want it to be something where there's a reason, and what you'll find in the story arc is while we say things like Care Bears and My Little Pony, that's kind of tongue-in-cheek, meaning that it can be attractive to anyone that wants to put models. Jen, over there, our producer, she doesn't want to make big ugly monsters and stuff, but if we made something that was fun and cute, she might give the game a try. And so we really want to have it be able that it can visually be alluring to anybody from any background. But also from the story, there's a reason why you might have something outlandish like that on the table. And it would be very easy for someone that came very serious with their painted army, and I'm very serious about playing this game, and they get sat down across the table from somebody with Care Bears, right? That it's as whacked out as it sounds, there's a reason in the narrative why that weird situation could happen, so that person can still feel like they haven't had the rug pulled out from under them, and sat down with an army with googly eyes across from them, so there you go. Yeah, admit My Little Pony. A wizard did it. Yes, it's always about wizards. No, it's not about wizards.
It's all about wizards and the wizards' butts.
KTC skirmish tabletop games are great. Sounds exciting. We're very excited about it. You probably won't see a lot of motion other than me and Jordan painting some models coming through the end of the year. All the weirder things have happened. But yeah, we have a big move for Q4 onward on that particular game. And like I said, we have other games coming out in between that are smaller games. I think the first game retails at like $35 and you get everything. And other than the miniatures, you'll do the miniatures that you want for the characters you wind up loving out of the game.
Yeah, those always
to paint as separate. But yeah, tons of cool stuff coming. Stay tuned. Like Whimsyshire in Diablo.
God, what a hilarious thing to add to that game.
You'll, I think you'll see. Once the story is revealed, you'll see why anything you can dream is possible in our game, but still fits the narrative. I can still write the narrative forward and continue the story without having to worry about what you think is cool. Because everything you think is cool will fit. We've done it, chat. We have the silver bullet.
We have the silver bullet.
So. All right, with that, take us out of here, Jordan.
Goodbye, everybody. You're so awesome. Thanks for coming out and hanging out with us today. Don't forget to visit all the links that Jen is so wonderfully putting in here. We got the store link. You can get all of the wonderful paints that we've been painting with on stream. All the Monument Pro Acryl paints on our web store. In the first link there. The second link. This is a link to our Discord. You might have heard of us talking about our challenge that's ending today. We do monthly Discord challenges, which are cool kind of ways for you guys to get in there and try some new painting stuff. It's a great place to hang out, talk to a lot of other fantastic and amazing artists who share their work / talk and do general nerd things.
Make fun of me.
And, well, I mean, they make fun of me more than they make fun of you, to be honest.
That's why I hired you.
Yeah.
I got sick of being made fun of.
I'm the make fun of this guy. And then the FLGS link is going to be there for you guys to take a look and find local stores to you. If you're out of this country, if you're in Canada, if you're in the UK, all over the world, we have tons of local stores. Feel free to go check and see if there's a local one there to you, so you can pick up all of our cool stuff.
In the US, not just international.
Yeah. But if you have a store local to US as well, it's easier to buy locally overseas. You don't have to buy, pay for shipping, all that stuff.
Support
Anyways,
your local game store.
Don't forget, we stream 5 days a week.
5.
Although this week and part of next week's gonna be a little weird.
This week it's 2.
It's
Today
2.
and tomorrow.
Yeah. But our normal schedule is Monday through Friday. Monday, Wednesday, and Friday we stream from 12 to 2 like today. On Tuesdays and Thursdays we stream from 2 to 5. So it's going to run a little bit later. Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays are our lunchtime streams. So we'll have today's stream, we'll have tomorrow's stream, and then Jason and I are going to be off to Gen Con for the week. And then we will be back either Tuesday or Wednesday, back to streaming. And we'll still be following that same schedule. So just keep a lookout for us. You guys will get notifications about when we go live and when we're back from Gen Con. I'm sure we will be posting like mad all the cool things that are happening while we're there.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and thank you again so much. Make sure you guys stay for the raid. We're going to find somebody to go say hello to. And we will see you guys tomorrow.
Have a good evening, guys. We're out of here.
Bye.
Trim away. Woo woo. Fucking tech problems. What's up? Monument Hobbies. Jason and the Baby J. Feeling like a big baby. I'm alive and I'm living. Need more WOG. I started orcs. Grab the Beast Snaggle Boy. Super interested to see what you're going to do with them. Well, yeah, this is going to be a long one. Like I did the Imperial Guard diorama a while ago. I want to do Beast Snagga's battle pile. Excuse me. Oh, hi, Sam. Hi, doggy. I did not hit her. I did not. Jason ran off. I imagine like a cartoon smoke trail behind him. But yeah, thank you again for the raid. Hello, everybody. Happy Monday. Hope you all got a hobby-tastic week ahead. My name is Sam Lentz. And I don't know who Sam Lentz is. I'm here, though. It's okay. You make it better. Man, this is like loud on my end. Cool. Vile Needs. Thank you for the follow. Tessa, thank you as well. How is everybody doing? What was happening on the Monument stream? If you got a raid and run, that's cool. You guys do a really good job of having a lot of variety in all the paintworks. Clean up those 5 Marines and that tank that took me forever to build. Dude, Robo and I got down on some most important works. Yesterday we had a nice 6-hour jam session. All of a sudden it was like, holy shit, it's 7 o'clock. And it didn't stop there. Kept going. Sam Lentz, he always eats fish on Friday. He loves giving up. No, I will read everything as written. Sifidi Huefis Hercero Fugie FVF. That's like Zunga Zunga Zang, King Yellowman in the house. Beast Snaggas, that's right. Snaggas? Snaggas? Snaggas if you're from Wisconsin. So, Snaggas for me. I had like a box of Beast Snaggas and a bagel. When that's ready, let me know. I'll be over by the bubbler. Wimpytron, thank you so much for the support. Stay wimpy out there. So yeah, I got a unit of orcs. I got the Beast Boss. And a rectangle. A lot of dreams. Monday Unchained. Hello, Mr. Cribbins.